Hello friends, welcome to my channel and thanks for watching this video. So we have ended with one more interesting week on the Wall Street and things are not at all looking stable. If you do look at the price movement as of Friday, it was the same thing that has happened a week before and the same thing that has happened this week as well. The past 4 days, if you're looking at the price action, it's going to be on the downside, and then on the last day of the week it is showing, or the overall stock market is showing some sort of an up move. But is it justified, or is it enough to change the trend? That is something which one should ask for. So if you are looking at the bigger picture, you will see lots of things that has happened in the last 1 week, and that will probably happen in the upcoming week. So let us discuss what lies ahead as far as the trend and the overall US stock market is concerned. But before that, if you haven't yet subscribed my channel, just hit on the subscription button. Also hit on the notification bell along with the all button to get my updated video notification. So let's start another session of USA Weekly Market Report. So let's jump into the quick news headlines which are important and which will have an impact on the overall market, and then we will do our regular analysis, which is indeed by far very superior than anything else. So you can clearly see I have talked about silver in my last video, and you can get the headline: silver prices could touch a 9-year high in 2023 with a bigger upside than gold. Yes, I do believe that, and I have already talked about the short and the long term trend as far as silver is concerned, and there is a way to go as far as the big trend. Number two, in hindsight, monetary policy everywhere was too expansionary, Swiss central bank chief says. And Jamie Dimon says rate will rise above 5% because there is still a lot of underlying inflation. So, I mean, the bank and the bank chiefs are saying that, and these are not small banks, I'm talking about the global banks, they are indeed looking much more as far as inflation and as far as the interest rate is concerned, there is a way to go as far as the overall trend. So there is something more, or you need to brace with some more interest rate hike in the upcoming months and probably quarters. So let us see what is going to happen. There is no point anticipating something which is not in our control. Until and unless you will see a big recession and then everybody started cutting rates like anything. Okay, but meanwhile market will do what it tends to do. Apart from that, crypto lender Genesis files for bankruptcy in latest blow to Barry Silbert's DCG empire. Obviously this section, people have different opinion, but this section is just under the wrath of this is the first time when the crypto market is facing the wrath of policy and interest rate, because the other markets that is very familiar with us, if you're talking about real estate, if you're talking about commodities, gold, silver, precious metals, talking about stocks, we have been a history of 50 to 100 years or more than that, but this is the first time when we are experiencing the crypto. Many people call it as a bubble, many people don't even consider this as an asset. So this is the first time where the policy rate or the interest rate is indeed making a serious impact. So if it is not down and dusted, the bottom is not very near if you're looking at the current scenario. So just hang on to the situation. Asia Pacific market rises as Japan's inflation data reaches highest since 1981. Now this is one of the very important puzzle. For as of now this is a puzzle, because for the last couple of years or for the last 1 decade or more, Japan is reeling with a negative inflation kind of thing, where interest rate is in negative scenario. But once the interest rate, they haven't changed anything on interest rate, but if they start changing the interest rate because of the inflation data, it would be a big shocker. Let me tell you, it would definitely be a big shocker, because we know about Europe, we know about US, but Japan is a completely different thing. So if Japan's also started hiking the rates, or if it goes back to zero or even positive, it would be a different scenario which nobody is anticipating. I don't see any big news or headlines on that. So let us see. This is one more important thing which everybody should take a note on. Apart from that, let us see what Netflix blows away expectation on subscriber number. Now, I have talked about Netflix and I have done the analysis on Netflix stock multiple times. You can go and check it out. I have already said that Netflix has already bottomed out couple of months back, and from there it has gained and gained a lot. Okay, so if you want, you can check out my videos on my channel, and there are multiple videos on Netflix. And those who have already watched it, they already doubled their money or more than that. I think that's it. Fed governor sees high rates ahead, even with the progress on inflation. So we have, I think, 10 days or 11 days to go, and then we will have the next FOMC meet, and let us see what lies ahead as far as the next Fed meeting and what they are saying, because everybody simply sounding very hawkish as of now. I think, yeah, this is most of it. So let's go and let's start analyzing the market, and let us see what lies ahead. Now, this is the snapshot as far as the last day of the week or weekend snapshot. Dow Jones up by 1%, 330 points. NASDAQ up by 2.6%, 288 points. S&P 500 1.9%, 73 points. Gold is making its move, 1927, 1930. Oil at 81.69. The US yield also spiked a bit. Then we have one good thing. This is one surprising thing. VIX is trading below 20. So VIX trades below 20 is definitely a good sign, because it suggests that market is stabilizing. Okay, but this is just a number. I mean, if any new development comes into the market, obviously it will spike up, but just consider this number. If VIX continues to trade below 20, it's a good sign. Okay, this is a general perception. What I personally think, everybody has their own perception. Somebody may think 25, somebody thinks 15. So that's something which we must consider. Now the thing is, if you can see, I mean, there is no denial. I don't have any doubt in my mind that there is a recession, because this is a very common snapshot, and I have talked about bond yields in couple of my videos. I mean, this is a very classical chart. When the short term yield is higher than the long term yield, which simply indicates that you can see that. Okay, so it simply indicates that near term uncertainties are higher than the long term uncertainties, and that's why the lenders are charging more for the money they are parking or for the money they are lending. Okay, so this logic is very simple, and it will always cause market uncertainty, and market volatility will increase. Now, what I have expected, and I still believe the same thing, we are not going to see this kind of market crash. The reason is very simple. I mean, in the past two instances, if you go back in the past decade, the central banks are not very active. But after 2008, although we have seen some very unusual movements in a very short amount of time, central banks started jumping in and they started pushing money. So that's something which has changed as far as the policy and how the Fed is analyzing the situation. So the things have changed afterwards. And if you think that Fed is not going to do that, then probably that's not going to happen, because US market is very, very dependent on their stock market. So their economy is very much interlinked with the stock market. It's not like another countries where they don't bother about what's happening in the stock market, because stock market crash does make an impact, a huge impact on their economy. So beyond a certain point, I don't see anything, and that's why you have seen that there is no doubt. I personally believe that there is some more correction which is yet to be seen, and I have talked about it multiple times on my videos. I mean, 100 times, 200 times. I'm doing the analysis on daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis. So there is still some correction, but this is not a scenario which we have seen in 2002 and 2008, unless I mean, Fed will do what it says, and it will continue to drag down the stock market and throws it out of the park. So that situation is completely I don't see that thing right now, but if there is anything in the future, then nobody knows that. Yeah, one more thing is US dollar index, which is trading below 102, and there is a general perception that whenever the dollar index started falling and the stock market will started rising, so this is a general perception, but somewhere in the middle there is a gray area, and we are right now in this gray zone, because that general perception works out when we have growth in the market and not when there is a recession in the market, and we know that the growth has started falling, and the growth will not come back because of the policy measures. So that section is not a tick mark. So we have certain criterias. When every certain criterias we fill with that tick mark, then only things works out. So right now, even though you will see that dollar index started falling, but this gray zone will play its role, and you will see volatility in the market, and that's what you can see as far as the various things are concerned. But it's a good thing. I mean, the falling dollar index is indicating something. It will not work out very soon, but if you're looking at the overall trend, it does have an impact, and a big impact, because there is a sense that the change is coming and the trend is shifting. So now let's start doing our analysis, and let's start analyzing with the most stable one, the S&P 500, and I'll show you what is happening and what you need to do, because there is no point going beyond a zone. Okay, in the market, this is not a market where you become overly optimistic or overly pessimistic, because market is not going below a certain point, market is not moving or not going higher beyond a certain point. So this is a trend, this is a range, and we need to stuck with this range. Okay, so as of now, if you are looking at the price action, this is what the S&P 500 is indicating, and it is very clear that all indices are trading in between a range. So for S&P 500, we have 3,822 as far as the support, and 3,640, which is going to be our stop loss on the downside, and simultaneously on the upside we have 4,100 and 4,300. And the kind of market we are in, we will see a much bigger consolidation. Okay, we will see a much bigger consolidation which is coming, but what impact the next FOMC meet makes on the overall trend is something that we must see or must watch. Talking about the Dow Jones, yeah, this is the price chart of Dow Jones. Let me zoom this a bit, and then you will see what's happening, and you can clearly see this is also a range. Okay, and the index in this particular index is consolidating in between a range. So what do we have here? Here we are, and if you are looking at this particular index, it is much more stable relative to NASDAQ, but you will see big moves, because in terms of number it is like 33,000, so 300, 400, 500 point move is very much possible. So if you are looking at Dow Jones, you will see sharp moves even within the range. So for Dow Jones, we have 32,927 as our support, and we have 32,600 as our stop loss. On the upside, we have 34,323, and it may extend in between 34,627 and 34,763. That's it. Okay, there is no point going beyond the range. I hope you're getting my point. If you try to become overly optimistic or pessimistic, you will making yourself, or you are putting yourself in a very very risky scenario. So don't try to do that. Just be realistic. There is no point stretching things out, because I'll give you one more perspective. If you just look at the trend, the overall trend is on the downside, and whatever is happening is not at all overall trend is happening is not at all giving you a positive scenario. Okay, overall trend is happening is not at all giving you a positive scenario. It is just a consolidation. It is just a consolidation. And if you are looking at the trend, here we are. What you can see is something like this. So on the downside for NASDAQ we have 10,290 and we have 10,200, and on the upside we have 11,227 and 11,500. So this is something which we are looking at. Now NASDAQ is an exception because it has fallen a lot. I do think there is still some more downside which is yet to be seen in the upcoming months. I'm not talking about days or weeks. If you're looking at the next 6 months or 8 months, there is still some more downside which is yet to be seen. But right now this is a consolidation, and this is an exception where the moves could be relatively very big when you're comparing it with NASDAQ, beg your pardon, say S&P 500 or Dow Jones. And I'm talking about moves on both the side. Okay, there will be a breakout and there will be a breakdown, so both the scenarios are possible. So I keep NASDAQ as an exception, I guess, because it can move anywhere, so there is no point. This is something unusual, and NASDAQ has always proved that. But right now the scenario is very precarious or risky for NASDAQ rather than S&P 500 or Dow Jones. Okay, but still there is an overwhelming scenario for NASDAQ as well. So apart from that, silver. I have talked about silver, and I will show you the trend in this video as well. Because silver, if you are looking at the long-term chart, it requires some sort of firepower or some sort of catalyst for gold and silver to actually move. And if you are looking at the overall trend, it's very stable. It has actually stabilized. Okay, because let me draw this line, and you have 2008 and you have 2023. So you can clearly see the range. I'm not going to talk about it again. You can probably check out my previous video, but right now the range is this one. Okay, which means if it is trading above, if silver is trading above 21.5 or 22, here we are. If silver is trading above 25 or 21.5 or 22, so we have a zone which is open for silver futures I'm talking about, which is in between 21.5 on the downside and 51 on the upside. So this entire range is now open for you. So this is something which one must notice. And if there is any catalyst that the market is sensing, you will definitely see some big moves. So you can use $21 as your stop loss, and you can look out for the first target of $51, beyond which obviously it would be a breakout. Can break out in the long term in the upcoming years. Yeah. So next one is the dollar index, and I've been saying about the dollar index that it has already topped out. And if you are looking at the chart, what we're gonna see is the range which is now active. And I have said this thing in my I think 2 or 3 weeks back about dollar index, that the breakout that has happened was indeed a false breakout. And right now what's been happening here is dollar index has falling back into the range. So if you want to go long in dollar, then wait for the dollar to surpass 104 and started trading and sustaining above that. If it continues to trade below 103, then there is a possibility that it would or it will move back towards 88 and 89. So this is something which we need to look at. I mean these are long term trends, and these are very clean and clear trends. I'm not talking about short term where you have lots of volatility. I'm talking about long term. The trend are very clear. Okay, you can clearly see the price movement and what's actually happening. So 104 on this stop loss on the upside, and target will be 88 and 89 in the upcoming years. It will definitely take 1.5 year basically. So you can clearly see it's 441 days, and then here we have nearly 441 days. So you can clearly see, so 441 days somewhere 1 hour and a couple of months change, 4 or 5 months. So it's 1.5 year kind of trend. So a downtrend has just started. Now, as I told you, you cannot simply directly correlate this with the stock market rise, because this time the scenario is completely different. Okay, until and unless you will see everything has been shaken, like I'm not talking about the price action, I'm talking about scenario what has happened in March 2020, where everything got shaken and in last 10 or 15 days you can see that it looks like there is no tomorrow, and then we have seen the biggest stock market rise. So that scenario I'm waiting for, and when the confidence of the market started shaking and everything get thrashed, and then we will see a big move. Okay, I don't know when will it happen. If it will happen or not, that's also a big question. But yes, that will be a scenario which I am waiting for. But there are different planning and strategies which will work out on different time frames. Apart from that, let me so crude oil futures, crude WTI. This is one more thing which one should focus on. And after lots of strategic reserve divestment, now US has also stopped that, and they are piling on to their reserves. So hopefully now they are thinking about their they are thinking about their people. So it's a good sign. At least it is definitely a good sign that they are thinking about their people. That was not working out. Yeah, so this is something which we are going to look at as far as the WTI. This is the WTI chart, and you can clearly see the price is now trying to stabilize because the geopolitical scenarios are changing. Okay, so we need to see what's actually happening or what will probably happen as far as the oil is concerned. Okay, so on the downside you have let me zoom this a bit, otherwise 70 and 73, and on the upside we have 86, and you have 94. So this is the current scenario that we have here, and if there is any price move beyond you can say 94, then we will talk about, in that case we are going to talk about the big trend. Okay, so right now here we are. So right now we are trading in between a range as far as crude WTI future. So 70 on the downside as far as the stop loss, and 86 and 94 is going to be our big target on the upside. Okay, so this is what we have here as far as the big trend is concerned. Apart from that, I have already talked about gold, and let us see if there is anything which is important to discuss. But one thing is very clear: don't try to go beyond the range. And yeah, one more thing, if you want me to analyze any specific chart which you think is highly correlated with index, or which has an impact on the market, obviously do let me know in the comment section, because this is one specific area where I try to give deep and detailed analysis on weekly basis. So if you want, there is something very important, and it will have an impact on the overall US markets, then definitely let me know in the comment section. I will include that in the weekly analysis. So it will definitely not only help me, or it will inform me, but it will inform others. It will give an information, or it is like mutual kind of benefit, educating myself and educating others as well. So this is something which we are going to look at, and I think that is fine. Okay, most of the things I have already covered. And yeah, one more thing I have been so it just stuck in my just got the idea that, this is one thing. I mean, you can clearly see how Bitcoin is moving, and Bitcoin is literally making some Bitcoin is making some serious moves right now. Now, whether it will be a trend reversal or not, that is something which we need to understand. Because if you are looking at the market dynamics, even though we can see some very sharp up move, but whether it will be a trend reversal or not, that is something which we need to look at. Okay, so as of now there is no such sign, because it has fallen a lot, and it is a kind of financial instrument which may move on any direction, and there is no stoppage in between, because it can go higher and it can go lower, and people can trade on it 24 into 7 into 365. So you will see very sharp moves as far as the trend is concerned. But the thing is whether it will be a big trend or not. So as of now, you have 15,600 and 18,000 on the downside, and on the upside we have 25,000 and 29,000. So this is also trading in between a range. If there is a big move beyond 29,000 or more, then we will talk about the next range. Right now this is the range which we need to look at, and whatever is going on is a trading bounce back. Whether it turn out to be a big trend or not, that we will analyze beyond 29,000. I mean, I'm not in either of the camp who are saying it is not at all an asset, and these kind of things must not be in the market. And I'm not also in the camp who are saying that this is the future asset and this is going to give you the ultimate or superior returns. Okay, I just follow trend. I talk about trend, what is happening. I don't have my own beliefs in this kind of thing. Let's just believe the price, and let's just move with the price. If the price is indicating an uptrend, be it. If the price is indicating the downtrend, then say that it is a downtrend. Okay, so this is what the market looks like. We will wait for the next FOMC meet. Let me check out the date. If I found US FOMC meeting time, so if there is any meeting time, 2023, yeah, yes. So we have, it will happen, I think, yeah, 2 days to go. So 31st of January and 1st of February. Okay, so we have 10 days to go. Market will remain volatile. It may go sharply on the upside, falling sharply on the downside, and once the commentary kicks in, you will see a clear move which will gives you the direction, which will gives you the stability. Now the stability may happen on the upside or on the downside. So we have 10 more days of volatility. So be very sure about the trend, and if you don't understand how to deal with the situation, just stay out from the market. Focus on the long term trend. Okay, you need not to focus on the short term trend and then started scratching your head. So this is the end of the video. Thanks for watching.